Good morning, FCA Chapel. I hope you guys are doing well today. Hope everything's going well. It's been a pretty stressful time, and things have been pretty hectic lately, but one thing that we can always have encouragement with is the fact that God is always with us. And if you are a Christian right now, you know where you're going at the end of all this. No matter what happens to you, you shouldn't really be that concerned because you know in the end of everything that you're going to come out just fine. And it's really important to just remember that in these times right now. Remember that, no matter what happens, in the end, you're doing just great. Now, today we're going to be talking about James chapter 2 to James chapter 3. And so we're just going to do a general overview. We're going to look at the verses. We're going to talk about what they mean. We're going to talk about how you can apply these verses to your life. Now, James is one of my favorite books. I have two favorite books in the entire Bible. I have Proverbs and I have James. Now, this is, when I say favorite, it's kind of hard to really rank the books of the Bible, but these are the ones that I will go to when I need advice or when I'm looking for something like really, really practical in my life. I go to these books of the Bible to really help me out there. Obviously, when it comes to how to get saved and salvation, you'd go to John, and that's always a good place to take people. But James, once I got saved, really helped me a lot with how do I work my faith? Like, how do I actually put it into action instead of just words and, not really doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's why I went over it last time I actually had chapel with you guys. I went over James chapter 1. And we got a good ways there. And today I want to start at James chapter 2. And we're going to start at 14. And my goal is hopefully to get even into James chapter 3. All of these things are very, very important for us as Christians to learn and to grow our Christian walk. And so let's look at verse 14 here. It says, "What doth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he hath faith, and have not works? Can faith save him?" And so, what James is posing here is this very, very powerful lesson. And it's quite frankly, where are your works? When you look at somebody who says they're saved, especially from an earthly standpoint, we might not know that they're saved unless they're actually doing work. They're actually showing God's love to other people. Now, it's one of the saddest things in the world, and it's something that I struggle with a lot, and I used to struggle with a lot more, was the fact of my works not really showing my faith. I had faith. I believe that Jesus died on the cross. I believe all these different things, but I didn't really have the works that went with it. When you think about it this way, it makes a lot more sense. Look at somebody on the street. Realize that person, right there, that person, if they are not saved, they are going to hell. It's the truth. When we look at it that way, that makes you want to act a bit more, doesn't it? Doesn't it really just kind of hit you at that right spot and make you think, yeah, that's a real person that is really going to hell if I don't, possibly going to hell if I don't talk to them. It's a scary thought. And so that was one thing that really spurred me to start putting works into my, faith. Like, I had the faith, I knew the Bible, I knew these different things, but I didn't really, really know, I didn't have that driving force. And then another thing that really bothered me with that point in my life is that people didn't necessarily know I was a Christian. It's one of those things that I had to tell people instead of them just being able to look at my life and be like, oh, that is a Christian person. That is a, they do things that make me think they are a Christian. Now, hopefully you guys have people in your lives that you can just look at their example and beyond the shadow of a doubt that person is a Christian person. They mess up sometimes, things go wrong, but they're a Christian person, not just in what they say, but once again, in their works, in what they're actually doing. And one of the saddest things that has happened to the Christian church nowadays is that we have become, in a lot of ways, to other people, question marks. They don't know if we're Christians or not. So a lot of people like to fly under the radar. A lot of people like to just, I want to get by. I don't want to cause too much trouble. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I don't want to get into any debates. I don't want to, start a argument that I don't know how to get my way out of. That's not why we're here. If you are saved, you are here to start actually doing some work. Having these works here that we're talking about. And there's more to it than that. But let's just move on to verse 15 here. And it says, if a brother or sister be naked and destitute of daily food. And so he set up this example of a person who has very little to no clothing, quite frankly, and they don't have any kind of food daily. This is a person who goes from day to day starving, not just fasting when they feel like it. They're not into these trendy new diets or things like that where they say, oh, you know what, don't eat anything for 3 days and then eat whatever you want for the other 4 or something like that. No, this person had no real access to food. And so that's the vision you should have in your mind. Hold on a second.